Alright Blades fans, we need to talk. 3 stories breaking right now that could define the rest of our season. And trust me, you'll want to hear every single word of this. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button right now and join over 10,000 Blades supporters getting the latest news first. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update when we're covering breaking stories like these. Because let me tell you, what's happening at Bramall Lane right now, it's not what any of us expected when this season kicked off. Today's episode is absolutely packed. We're diving into 3 major developments at Bramall Lane that have got everyone talking, from brutal assessments to potential exits to long-awaited returns. First up, a brutal assessment of our summer transfer window that's got fans divided. A BBC reporter has come out with some absolutely damning words about our recruitment, and the evidence is stacking up to support his claims. Then, potential departures in January, including one name that'll shock you. We're talking about players who could be heading out the door, and one of them is someone we absolutely cannot afford to lose right now. And finally, the return we've all been waiting for, and why it couldn't come at a better time. After 12 months of pain and setbacks, a local hero is nearly ready to pull on that red and white shirt again. Stick around for all 3 because each one of these stories matters. Each one could shape where we end up come May. Let's get straight into it. Right, let's address the elephant in the room. BBC reporter Rob Statton has come out swinging with a damning verdict on our summer business. His words, "The signings simply haven't improved the squad." Ouch, that hurts to hear. But is he right? Let's break this down properly. Look, we all know where we are right now. 22nd in the championship, bottom 3, just 3 points from safety behind Oxford United in 21st. We're sat in the relegation zone alongside Norwich City and a rival Sheffield Wednesday. Let that sink in for a moment. Both Sheffield clubs in the bottom 3 together. This isn't where anyone expected us to be after finishing last season with 90 points and reaching the playoff final at Wembley. We were so close to getting back to the Premier League. So close. For games without a win, the form's been terrible. The last match, a frustrating 0-0 draw at home to QPR. Couldn't break down their block at Bramall Lane. 1 point where we desperately needed 3. The fans are frustrated. The atmosphere's tense. Questions are being asked at every level of the club. Chris Wilder's side are struggling, really struggling. And according to Statton, the root of the problem goes back to that summer window. The decisions made, the players brought in, the ones who left. So what exactly did we do in the transfer market? Let's break it down properly because this matters. We invested heavily in defense. Benmi came in from Brentford, experienced center back, Premier League quality supposedly. Japhet Tanganga arrived from Tottenham, another player with top-flight experience. Tyler Benton joined on loan. Mark McGuinness signed from Cardiff. For new defenders to shore things up at the back, that's serious investment in one area. We clearly identified defense as the priority. Makes sense given how many goals we leaked in the Premier League the season before. Going forward, we brought in Danny Ings for experience. Leicester City striker, proven Premier League goalscorer. Someone who should know how to find the net at championship level. Tahith Chong came in from Manchester United for width and creativity. Alex Matos signed from Norwich. And Louis Barry arrived on loan from Aston Villa, a highly rated young forward. On paper, it looks decent. Fresh faces, mix of youth and experience. Players from higher levels coming to help us bounce back. Players who should be making a difference. But here's what Statton said, and I quote from his BBC Sport report. The players brought in simply haven't improved the squad. It was always going to be a challenge dealing with the loss of players like Vini Souza and Anel Ahmedhodzic. However, it would be manageable if it was in the right hands. That's the key bit right there. Vini Souza gone to Wolfsburg, Anel Ahmedhodzic off to Feyenoord. Two absolutely crucial players who held our spine together last season. Souza was everywhere in midfield, box-to-box energy, breaking up play, driving us forward. The engine of our team. Ahmedhodzic was composed at the back, could play out from defense, organize the line, made everyone around him better. Proper quality center back, and we didn't replace them properly. That's the bottom line. We didn't bring in players of equivalent quality or ability. Statton goes on. Instead, the Blades have brought in a group of players who have either made minimal impact or don't look anywhere near good enough or need time to get back to peak fitness. Harsh words. But look at the evidence. Benmi was supposed to bring leadership and Premier League experience, but at 35 years old, Is he really the long-term answer? Has he provided the stability we needed? Tanganga should have added quality at the back, but he's barely featured injuries. Fitness issues. Hasn't had the impact we hoped for. The defensive record doesn't lie. We're still leaking goals, still looking vulnerable, still getting picked apart by decent sides. Up front, Ings is barely featured. Limited game time. Hasn't been able to make his mark. The goals haven't come. Barry's shown flashes but needs more time. Raw. Inconsistent. Not ready to carry the goal-scoring burden week in, week out. Chong's been hit and miss. Some good moments, some invisible performances. Not the consistent threat we needed. And that's not all we're dealing with here. The timing couldn't be worse. We sacked Ruben Sells in September after a disastrous start. 6 straight defeats. Not a single win under the Spaniard. 0 points from 18. His appointment after we let Wilder go following the playoff final turned out to be a complete disaster. An absolute shambles. Sells came in from Southampton, Reading, and Hull City with decent credentials on paper. But he never got a grip on this squad. Never looked like he understood what was needed. The football was poor. The results were catastrophic. The fans turned quickly. So Wilder came back for a third spell. His third time managing this club. The man who got us promoted twice before. The man who kept us competitive in the Premier League against all odds. Surely he could sort this mess out. But even he's struggling to turn things around. And that tells you how deep the problems run. His record since returning? 10 games, 3 wins. 1 draw, 6 losses. Those are relegation numbers. Those are the kind of stats that get managers sacked. Now, I'm not saying Wilder's the problem. I think he walked into an absolute nightmare situation. But the numbers don't lie. The players haven't gelled. They've taken time to adapt to South Yorkshire. The style of play, the expectations, the pressure of playing for a massive club in the Championship. Some still look completely out of their depth at this level. And that's shocking when you consider this is the second tier we're talking about, not the Premier League, the Championship. Meanwhile, we're missing everything that Sousa and Ahmed Hadjic gave us. Sousa's energy in midfield, his ability to cover ground, win the ball back, drive us forward when we needed momentum. Ahmed Hadjic's composure and ability to play out from the back, his leadership, his quality in possession. You can't just lose players of that caliber and expect to replace them overnight. But here's the thing, should we have done better? Absolutely, without question. Stanton's criticism cuts deep because there's truth in it, real truth. The recruitment hasn't worked. The squad looks weaker than last season despite spending money, despite bringing in all these new faces. And now we're in a relegation battle where we should be fighting for promotion, when we should be in the automatic promotion race or at least comfortably mid-table looking up. That's the gap between expectation and reality. That's how far we've fallen in just a few months. January's coming. In just over a month, the window opens again. We'll have a chance to refresh the squad, bring in players who actually improve us, players who understand what's required, maybe move some on who haven't worked out, clear the decks a bit. The club needs more quality, especially in attack. We're not scoring enough goals, not creating enough chances, not looking threatening enough going forward. We've scored what? 15 goals in 15 games. That's 1 per game. You're not staying up with that goal return. You're certainly not getting promoted. Compare that to the teams at the top. They're scoring 2, sometimes 3 per game. That's the difference. That's why they're up there and we're down here scrapping for survival. This is the reality check we needed. Someone had to say it. The summer business hasn't delivered. The squad's in a worse place than when we started despite all the investment and activity. And if we don't fix it quickly, if we don't get January right, we could be heading for League One. That's not exaggeration. That's a genuine possibility right now. Sheffield United in League One, after playing in the Premier League just 18 months ago. That would be a catastrophic fall from grace. Drop a comment below. Do you agree with Rob Stanton's assessment? Were our summer signings good enough? Or do you think they just need more time to settle, more time to adapt, more time to show what they can do? I want to hear your thoughts on this one because the fanbase seems split. And if you're getting value from these upgrades, hit that like button. It genuinely helps us reach more Blades fans who need to see this content. The algorithm pushes videos with better engagement, so every like counts. Right, this next one's going to hurt, really hurt. 3 players could be leaving Sheffield United in January. At one of those names, you absolutely won't want to hear it. Gus Hammer might be sold. Let me say that again because I know some of you won't believe it. Gus Hammer, our Gus Hammer, the midfielder we built so much around, could be on his way out of Bramall Lane? According to exclusive reports from Football League World, the club's already looking to terminate loan deals for Louis Barry, Tyler Bindon, and Ben Godfrey. None of them have impressed. They haven't delivered what we needed. Fair enough, cut our losses there. But the departures won't stop there. Not even close. Jimmy from Blades Ramble, our Sheffield Utd correspondent at Football League World, has named 3 more players who could be heading for the exit when January comes around. First, Tom Cannon, the striker we brought in with high hopes. He's barely played. For championship starts this season. That's it. For starts in 15 games. He'll want more game time. Any ambitious young striker would. He's not going to sit on the bench all season watching others play. Preston North End were interested in the summer, sniffing around for a loan deal. They might come back in January with another offer. And to be honest, it makes sense for both parties. Cannon gets minutes, gets to play regularly, prove himself. We reduce the wage bill slightly, free up space in the squad for someone who might actually make a difference. I've got no issue with that one. He's not playing here. Better for everyone if he goes somewhere he can develop. Second, Ryan One, the 19-year-old defender, academy prospect with potential. But here's the stat that matters. He hasn't started a single game for us this season. Not one. 0 starts. He's got talent, no question. Needs to develop, needs to learn. But he needs to be playing football, not sitting in the stands or on the bench watching. Jimmy reckons a loan move to League One would suit everyone. Let him get games, eat experience, learn his trade properly, come back stronger and ready to compete. Wilder would free up space in the squad while One gets the development he desperately needs. Makes total sense. Good business all around. But here's the big one. The one that'll divide opinion. The one that's got me genuinely worried. Gus Hammer. Jimmy said, and I'm quoting directly here, "I think there's a chance Gus Hammer gets sold. I hope not, but I think there's that possibility." Now let's be absolutely clear about something. Crystal clear. Losing Hammer in January would be an absolute disaster, a catastrophe. One of the worst decisions this club could make. This is a player who's been fundamental to our success in the past. Absolutely fundamental. A Dutch midfielder with quality, creativity, drive, technical ability. When he's on form, he's genuinely one of the best players in this division. He joined us from Coventry City, where he was absolutely brilliant. Fans favorite there. They were devastated to lose him. We snapped him up, and he's shown glimpses of that quality in our shirt. If Wilder's dealing with a relegation battle, and right now, that's exactly what he's dealing with, Hammer could be the difference. The player who keeps us in the championship. The one who produces magic when we need it most. He's got that ability to unlock defenses, pick a pass nobody else sees, drive forward with the ball, score from distance, create chances from nothing. Selling him in January satisfies nobody except the accountants. Maybe it balances the books. Maybe it brings in some transfer money. Maybe it funds other signings or reduces the wage bill. But it destroys our chances of survival this season. Absolutely destroys them. And that's not all we need to think about here. There's the bigger picture to consider. The timing is brutal. Absolutely brutal. We're 22nd in the table. 3 points from safety. For games without a win, our form is terrible. Confidence is low. Results aren't coming. This is when you need your best players, not when you sell them. This is when you need quality, experience, leaders, players who can drag you through difficult moments. Hammer's the type of midfielder who can change games single-handedly, create something from nothing when we're toiling, drive us forward when we're struggling, provide that bit of magic when defenses are sitting deep and we can't break them down. Think back to that 0-0 against QPR I mentioned earlier. We couldn't unlock their defense, couldn't find a way through. That's exactly the kind of game where Hammer makes the difference. Remember what happened when we lost Souza and Ahmed Hajic? We couldn't replace them, not properly. The squad got weaker immediately. We're still feeling those losses now months later. Doing the same with Hammer in January? That's not rebuilding. That's not a rebuild or a refresh or whatever the board might call it. That's asset stripping while we're in crisis. That's giving up on the season. Now, I understand the argument from the other side. I do. If Hammer wants out, if he's pushing for a move, If his head's been turned by interest from elsewhere, then maybe we have to consider it. Player power is a real thing in modern football. You can't keep someone who doesn't want to be here. They'll be a negative influence. They won't give 100%. Better to let them go and use the money elsewhere. But we're Sheffield United, a massive club with incredible history. We're in the bottom 3 fighting for survival. Every point matters between now and May. Every game's a battle. Every moment could define our season. This is when you need leaders, quality, experience, players who understand the pressure, who've been through tough times before, who know how to get results when the chips are down. Letting him go in the summer, fine, I could accept that. If we've stayed up, if we've rebuilt properly, if the timing's right, if we get good money for him. But January, when we're fighting for our lives, when every point could be the difference between survival and relegation, that would be a massive statement about where this club's heading, and not a good one. It would say we care more about balancing the books than staying in the championship. The worry is this becomes a pattern, a horrible pattern we've seen at other clubs. We sell our best players, struggle to replace them, end up weaker, fall further down the table, then sell more players to balance the books, then fall even further. That's a death spiral. That's how clubs end up in League One or worse. That's how you go from Premier League to League One in the space of 3 years. We've seen it happen to other clubs. It could happen to us. Cannon leaving? I can live with that. No problem. He's not playing. He needs minutes elsewhere. Fair enough. Good luck to him. One going on loan. Sensible. Smart business. Good for his development. Good for the club. But Hammer? No, absolutely not. Not in January. Not while we're in the relegation zone. Not while we're fighting for our championship lives. If Chris Wilder lets that happen, if the board sanctions it, they're basically admitting the season's over. They're accepting relegation before we've even reached the halfway point. They're waving the white flag, and that's not acceptable for a club of our size, our history, our ambitions, our fan base. We need to be adding quality in January, not losing it, strengthening the squad, not weakening it further, giving Wilder the tools to climb the table, not leaving him with scraps to work with. Here's my question for you lot. Would you let Gus Hammer leave in January? Is there any price that makes it acceptable? Or is he untouchable right now given our position? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This one's huge, and I want to know where the fan base stands. Are we united on this or divided? Your opinion matters. Comment below and let's get a proper discussion going. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates. As this January window approaches, it's going to be massive. Absolutely massive. Right. Finally some good news for a change. Finally something to be positive about. The return we've all been waiting for is almost here. Ollie Arblaster is coming back. 365 days. A full year out with that ACL injury. 12 months of pain, setbacks, frustration, rehabilitation, dark moments. But he's nearly ready. Nearly there. The finish line's in sight. And his message to the fans, it's emotional. It's powerful. It's exactly what we needed to hear right now. Let me take you back to November 10th last year. The Sheffield Derby. Our local lad, academy graduate, future captain material, Sheffield United through and through, goes down with a serious knee injury, ACL, anterior cruciate ligament. The injury every footballer dreads. The one that takes a year to recover from. Sometimes longer. Sometimes it's never quite the same again. Arblaster was flying at that point. Absolutely flying. One of the best young midfielders in the country. After a brilliant loan spell at Port Vale earlier that season, where he absolutely dominated League One, he'd been recalled and thrown straight into our Premier League side. Yeah, we were struggling that season. Yeah, we were having a nightmare in the top flight. But this 20-year-old kid, he was one of the few bright sparks. One of the few reasons to be optimistic about the future. He started the last 11 games of that campaign, every single one, captained the side on occasions. At 20 years old, wearing the armband for Sheffield United in the Premier League. Think about that for a second. 20 years old, playing in the toughest league in the world, captaining the team. That's not normal. That's special. Then the new season started, the championship season. He carried that form into the second tier, started brilliantly, looked a class above. Many were saying he was one of the best midfielders in the division already. That's not hype. That's not me being biased. That's what he was showing week in, week out, controlling games, dictating tempo, leading by example. Then came that derby, that tackle, that moment, that injury. Gone. Just like that, in an instant, his season was over. His development halted. His momentum stopped dead. He was supposed to be back in August, preseason, ready for the new campaign. Didn't happen. Setback. Knee wasn't responding how they hoped. Then September, another delay, more complications, more frustration. Then November, more issues, more waiting, more rehabilitation, more dark days. Every Blades fan watching this knows how frustrating that must have been for him, for his family, for everyone who rates him and wants to see him succeed. Watching from the sidelines while the team struggles, knowing you could help but can't, knowing you should be out there but physically can't. That's torture for any competitive athlete. But now, finally, he's ready, nearly there, the light at the end of the tunnel. After the international break, there's a real chance he features in the Sheffield Derby at Hillsborough against Wednesday. What a moment that would be. What a story. What a return. On November 10th, exactly 1 year after the injury happened, Arblaster posted a message on Instagram. Let me read it to you because his words are powerful. 365 days have passed since the biggest blow of my life. 12 months that have brought me many terrible days, with endless nights of pain and tears. But one thing is for sure, I've learned a lot. Powerful words from a 21-year-old who should be in his prime right now, who should be playing every week, developing, improving, establishing himself as one of the best in his position. Instead, he's been in the gym, in the treatment room, doing endless rehabilitation sessions, building strength back, testing the knee, hoping it holds up. But then he said this, and this is the bit that gave me goosebumps. I keep pushing myself, and I can't wait to wear this shirt again soon. That's what we want to hear. That determination, that hunger, that love for the club, that desire to get back out there and make a difference. And trust me, he's not alone in that feeling. Every Sheffield United fan is desperate to see him back on that pitch, desperate to see what he can do, desperate to see him in action again. The timing couldn't be better either for his return. We're struggling, 22nd in the table, lacking leadership, lacking quality in midfield, lacking someone who actually understands what this club means, what it represents, what's expected. Arblaster ticks every box, every single one. He's a Sheffield United lad through and through, academy product, came through our youth system, loves the club, bleeds red and white, understands the history, the derby, the expectations. He's shown he can perform at this level and higher, dominated games in the championship before that injury, held his own in the Premier League at 20 years old against some of the best players in the world. And he's a leader, natural leader, captained the side already despite his age, commands respect in the dressing room, organizes on the pitch, drives standards, doesn't accept mediocrity. That's what we need right now. That leadership, that mentality, that refusal to accept where we are in the table. Now, let's be realistic for a second. Let's not get carried away. He's been out for a year, 12 full months. ACL injuries are serious. Coming back from them takes time. It's not instant. There'll be rust, match fitness to build up gradually, sharpness to rediscover, timing to work on, confidence to rebuild. He might not be at 100% straight away. Might take a few games to get up to speed. That's normal. That's expected after such a long absence. But if anyone can do it, it's him. The kid's mentally strong, incredibly strong. He's been through absolute hell this past year and kept pushing, kept working, never gave up, never felt sorry for himself publicly. And the impact he could have on this squad is massive, potentially season-defining. Chris Wilder needs leaders, desperately needs them, needs players who care about the result, who hate losing, who demand more from themselves than others. He needs midfielders who can control games and set the tempo, who can dictate play, who can slow things down when needed or speed things up, who understand game management. Arblaster gives him all of that. Leadership, quality, understanding, determination. Imagine if he comes back and hits the ground running, even if he's at 80% of where he was before the injury. That's still better than most of what we've got right now. Still better than what we're seeing week in, week out. He could be the spark, the catalyst, the player who lifts everyone around him and drives us up that table. The one who changes the atmosphere in the dressing room. the one who makes others better. Sometimes one player can transform a season. One personality, one leader. We've seen it happen at other clubs. Why not us? Why not now? Why not Arblaster? The worry, and I have to be honest about this, is whether a year out at such a young age affects his development long term. 20 to 21 is when players should be playing every week, improving, learning, progressing, establishing themselves. He's missed a full year of that, an entire year of development. We can't ignore that fact. We can't pretend it doesn't matter. But I'm choosing optimism here. I'm choosing to believe he comes back strong, stays fit, avoids any setbacks, recaptures that form we saw before the injury. Because if he does, this season looks completely different. The whole outlook changes. Suddenly we've got a midfielder who can actually control games at this level, who can pass through lines, who can break up play, who can lead from the middle of the park. We've got someone in the dressing room who knows what it means to wear that shirt, who won't accept mediocrity, who'll demand more from everyone around him, who holds people accountable. That's what we've been missing. That's what we desperately need if we're going to climb out of this relegation battle. So here's my question for all of you watching. How important is Ollie Arblaster's return for our survival chances this season? Could he genuinely be the difference between staying up and going down? Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm fascinated to hear different perspectives on this. The Sheffield Derby after the international break might just be the perfect stage for his comeback. Bramall Lane will be rocking. Home fans behind the team. Massive atmosphere. Local derby with everything on the line. The kid from Sheffield returning in the Sheffield Derby to help save Sheffield Utd season. You couldn't write it better. Hollywood couldn't script it better than that. Come on, Ollie. We're all behind you. Every single one of us. The whole fan base is desperate to see you back out there doing what you do best. Right. Let's wrap this up. Let's bring it all together. 3 massive stories. 3 very different emotions. 3 huge talking points for every Blades fan. First, the harsh reality check from Rob Statton about our summer signings not improving the squad. And you know what? The evidence is there to support him. 22nd in the table. Bottom 3. For games without a win. Something went badly wrong with our recruitment. We lost Souza and Ahmed Hajic and didn't replace them properly. Now we're paying the price. Second, the January departure fears with Tom Cannon, Ryan 1, and potentially Gus Hammer all linked with moves away. Cannon and 1 leaving, fine. Understandable. Makes sense for everyone. But losing Hammer? That would be catastrophic right now. Absolutely catastrophic. We cannot let that happen while we're fighting relegation. He could be the difference between survival and League One. Third, the return of Ollie Arblaster. Finally, some positive news. Some light at the end of the tunnel. A year out with that ACL injury, 12 months of pain and rehabilitation. But he's ready to come back, and we need him more than ever. His leadership, his quality, his understanding of what this club means. That could transform our season. If you've made it this far through this entire video, you're a proper Blade. You care about this club. You're invested in what happens. Appreciate you sticking with this episode through all the ups and downs, through the bad news and the good news. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you haven't already. We're posting regular content covering every single development at Bramall Lane, every transfer rumor, every team news update, every tactical analysis. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload. Drop a like if you found this valuable. Seriously, it genuinely helps us reach more Sheffield United fans who need to see this content. The algorithm pushes videos with better engagement to more people. So every like, every comment, every share helps us grow this community. And get involved in the comments section. Tell me your thoughts on these 3 stories. Are you worried about January and potential departures? Excited about Arblaster's return and what he might bring? Frustrated with the summer signings and where we are in the table? I read every single comment, and I want to hear from you. Share this video with other Blades fans. Get the discussion going on social media, in the pub, with your mate.